Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Hope you're doing well. We've got some RLCS roster updates for you all today. As always, if you want to stay up to date on these, easiest thing to do, check out the roster document in the description. We update them on the main page to the best of our abilities. So today is the 3rd. We just went through all of these with chat. But a couple new ones to talk about. The first one, Crew, along with many others, realized that a 3-4-5-month offseason probably not the best to keep paying for a team. Therefore, they have released their roster. AJG, Bems, and Wisty no more for the Crew esports team, and that continues for multiple others. You're also seeing the Resolve roster release their long-standing coach in Tadpole, as they also have released their players, and that's going to continue to happen. Obviously, if you guys don't know Jeff, who is the COO over at Resolve, he's very transparent about all that stuff. He kind of talks about the financial things, how much money they made off of the esports decals and all that kind of stuff, and kind of the insight to it. But if they don't have a partnership agreement, which to that I say, hey, Resolve, what are you doing to generate revenue on your own? Is it the content piece is not hitting as well as you'd hope because the team isn't performing? Decal stuff isn't doing as well as you'd hope. Do you have any like business stuff supporting it? Like, where's the funding coming from? And if you're purely relying on sponsors, that's part of the issue. So if they haven't been able to leverage the likeness of their team to generate revenue, like you're seeing with Energy, Gen G, so on and so forth, it becomes tough to support a team. So unfortunately for them, they're gonna have to either completely back out or hope they can find a partnership and run it again next year. Alongside that, also, Team Endpoint has also said that they are releasing Arju and Matane. Arju and Matane, who have been longstanding, obviously the Monkeys team that has gone through many iterations with Misfits, and Arju left and then came back, and we've seen a bunch of different teams have been let go. They kind of talk about the results and the history and stuff. And he said, with there being differences of opinion in terms of the team's future direction, it became clear that we should allow Arju and Matane to explore their own opportunities. Many of the organizations that have been in the long off season is challenging. With it being clear that the team would not remain together for next season, we have decided to plan for the future and allow these two to do the same. We're still deciding on our own plans for next season, but we are currently retaining Toxic and Andy and hope to build around them in the future. So they do provide us a little bit of insight on what their future intentions are. I'm personally a big fan of Team Endpoint. I think they do a really good job of supporting their team. Their team streams are always dope. So glad to see them trying to stick around and rebuild and provide a little bit of hope that we're not going to lose yet another organization. So that's good. But the one I really want to focus on today is Team BDS, as they have now put out a video that we're going to actually sit and watch about Extra. A lot of people forget that Extra has been on this team for a very long time, won a world championship with them. Extra's journey in general is pretty crazy. Was on that AS Monaco team that is arguably one of the worst performing teams in RLCS history. Great offense. It was him, Ignite, and Tigre, I think, back in the day. And their offense was great, but their defense was abysmal. And they went like 0-7 or something like that. It was not pretty. But to go from that to join BDS to win a world championship, and then eventually Seiko comes in and gets the replacement. And then he kind of just sits and is like this extra coach on the team. And people were kind of curious on what his like journey was or what he was doing. He ended up doing a interview with a guy by the name of Life is Cool, who's a French commentator and does content and stuff like that. But things got translated, and he said that he has no anger towards BDS, and Monkey Moon is still one of his best friends. He did get some tryouts with some teams, Joyo and Drawley, but Drawley got the BDS offer, and then Joyo left. Astral and Cash was an opportunity, but they didn't have an org, so they weren't sure. And then he also stated that NRG was an option, but the synergy wasn't there. He said the contract he remained on was signed just after they won the world championship. So there was big money and like he was being compensated very, very well. He said he hesitated to retire and go coach, but he loves competition too much and wanted to end his career on something big. His dream was to win a world championship and then retire if he could. He stated he's teaming with Matzer and Rizfox for the Rising League. They came to him and was not only team to ask him to play. So it seems like there's still people trying to play with Extra, and rightfully so. I think he's still a talented player. Spent his year traveling and played a little bit, but not as much as he was competing. But he's now back on the grind doing his thing. So overall, he said he felt very humble and gave a lot of recognition to the fans that kept asking for news of him. So I think it makes sense that after all he's accomplished with the team, that they do have a thank you post. And we're going to watch this video and see how it goes. I've heard it's very, very good and it's very insightful. Hopefully the translation and the captions works out as we're going to watch it in English. But let's take a look. I'm going to try not to pause it at all and just enjoy it. But it starts off with him kind of saying goodbye to the practice room. Turn off the PC for the last time. I mean, he's been there a long time. I can't imagine that transition. Like every player hopes to find a long-standing home where they can grow and find familiarity and loyalty with. So that next chapter is gonna be tough. All the different jersey iterations. I'm sure his closet has got so many. It feels like forever. When Energy tried the have fun meta and even that wasn't enough. Like, I remember when that BDS team, like, you guys gotta understand, we saw them dominate during COVID era, and we're like, are we ever gonna get to see this team really live up to the expectation that we have for them? And then they won the first major, and we're like, yeah, they are the real deal. Garrett finally retires. Energy headquarters will explode when he walks away from a goodbye video. Pretty much. Big fan of Extra. He's a really good dude. I'm very interested to hear from his perspective too, what it was like to have to kind of take that back seat and just watch from a side, because like that takes a lot from a player too, right? To basically say like, hey man, you got the boot, but you're still gonna be here, and you have to watch people do what you wish you were, you know.
Pour le premier ballon dans le corner, avec Caillot qui va récupérer Extra peut-être pour une nouvelle table sur le backboard.
Oh, when Orb was stage host, I forgot about that. The French accent is always so good. I am the best. Sag. Oh man, you can't hit this with breathing underwater. Okay, it's not. That chord, I was just like, is this breathing underwater?
Salut mon gars Extra, que dire de ton passage chez BDS, c'était incroyable. Dès le début, voilà, premier tournoi l'Eurocup, pour le gagner ensemble. Après tu connais la suite, on a gagné tous les tournois possibles à deux. C'était incroyable.
The W in this font is very weird.
C'était un peu plus compliqué à la fin, mais je retiens que des bons moments avec toi.
Extra, t'es une légende du club. T'es arrivé avec des objectifs. La structure.
God, haven't watched testimonials. Oof.
Celui d'être champion sur Rocket League et toi tu l'as fait. Tu as réalisé ce que tout joueur pro veut faire ici. Et on est tous très fiers de ce que tu as pu faire. Tu es une légende, comme je l'ai dit, tu es une légende du club et personne ne t'oubliera.
Alors mon Extra, franchement, parcours exceptionnel, parcours de légende. Champion du monde chez BDS. Voilà,
a lot of respect for BDS for kind of giving him this send-off too. Because like, at the end of the day, he hasn't been at the forefront for the team. He's kind of been behind the scenes. So the fact that they're still, you know, taking the time and the effort. Because this stuff is not easy to coordinate. You're talking, you gotta get all these people together. You gotta record the videos. You gotta edit it down. You gotta, man's gonna cry.
Je pense que par Extra est l'un des meilleurs teammates que j'ai eu, si ce n'est le meilleur. Et je pense que déjà il a ramené son titre de grand champion à BDS et je pense que c'est quelqu'un de très bien. Et il a beaucoup apporté à la structure.
Je pense qu'on est tous d'accord pour dire que Extra c'est une légende à vie de BDS, qu'il a marqué la structure de son passage dans cette équipe.
Is Mew still with BDS?
Le duo avec Monkey Moon qui a duré autant, le trio avec Mark Bayet, etc. C'est légendaire, tu vois. On s'en souviendra très longtemps sur le Rocket League. Donc,
we got the quiver. Uh-oh.
Moi, je suis content de pouvoir dire à Extra qu'il sera toujours.
Oh, it'd be impossible to hold this shit back. Waterworks for sure.
En fait. Et ça, c'est la plus belle chose que tu puisses faire quand tu es joueur. Donc, légende du club à vie.
Bon, Extra, c'est dur. Honnêtement,
I think it's difficult too because good managers, good coaches, truly get to know their players, you know, as individuals.
Dans les moments les plus difficiles. C'est moi qui ai
They try to become more than just friends, teammates, but at the same times, that's why it's so hard. Because like there's that personal attachment, you know, you're more than just teammates. You become essentially family. To go through those high pressure situations and like, man, it is.
Voilà, t'es beaucoup plus qu'un joueur pour moi, tu le sais très bien. On s'est vu multes et multes fois en dehors du jeu. On en a parlé énormément. Mais voilà, félicitations d'être l'humain que t'es devenu, le joueur que t'es devenu. T'as été un grand capitaine, un grand médiateur. T'as toujours été ultra gentil avec tout le monde. Je pense que chez BDS, tout le monde le sait et le dit. Et nous-mêmes, en tant qu'équipe, et même Monkey, Seiko, tout le monde est dégoûté que c'est dû se passer comme ça. Mais sois fier de ce que tu as accompli. Je suis persuadé que tu vas rebondir avec énormément de puissance, que tu vas revenir en force, que tu le mérites et que tu es.
Very thankful that they put in captions.
Donc voilà, tu as été un grand élément. Et même quand tu n'étais plus là, dans cette équipe titulaire, tu étais derrière nous. Et ça, c'est inestimable, tu vois, parce qu'il y en a beaucoup qui ne l'auraient jamais fait. Donc voilà, merci pour ça.
A lot of credit from their manager saying that. Because it's true. Like, dude, he got kicked to the curb and benched. And like he still took it on the chin and he sat there and he supported the team from the sideline. Like, not many people have the mental fortitude to do that, man.
On sera toujours derrière toi et on sera toujours tes premiers supporters. Gros bisous, mon frère.
Mon gars Alex, merci pour tout ce que tu as fait. Tu as été un des premiers à me laisser ma chance, à accepter que je rejoigne cette équipe. Tu as toujours été exemplaire, un mental incroyable. Tu sais ce qui s'est passé. Je sais
100% Vulcans. It's so short-lived. I mean, obviously I watch a lot of NFL, and like they say the average career is 1 to 2 years because there's just such a surplus of talent coming in. So to stick around for an extended period of time is very, very difficult. You have to be, you know, one of the best athletes in the world. So it's like,
l'année dernière quand on a gagné les Worlds, j'oublierai pas tout ce qu'on a pu gagner ensemble.
I do think it stinks that this happened. Like, again, this is not a. This is something that was probably recorded a long time ago. This is something that has been kind of ongoing, and they're just waiting for the contract to expire. But it does stink that he's not going to be able to go and be with the team for the World Championship. I do think that stinks.
Et que tu pourras montrer le meilleur de toi-même, mais voilà, sois confiant, reste qui t'es, et surtout ne change rien. Tu as été l'excellent partenaire que tu as été, et peut-être le joueur le plus sous-coté de ces 2 dernières saisons. Donc voilà, tu as eu un peu de break, tu t'es donné pour rebondir.
Yeah, have him wear a mascot costume and then rip off the helmet and be like, I'm back.
Franchement, tu as toujours été un frère pour moi. Tu as toujours été là dans les bons comme dans les mauvais moments. Tu as toujours essayé de m'aider. Et je te remercierai jamais assez. Et puis, je te souhaite le meilleur pour la suite. Je sais que tu vas revenir au top. Et j'espère qu'on s'affrontera sur le terrain. Et proposer des bonnes games. Et puis voilà, je te souhaite le meilleur, mon frère. Je t'aime.
It's like hot ones, you know? It's like hot ones, and they're like, all right, now talk. It's like, dude, I can't.
Cette vidéo marque la fin de mon passage chez BDS.
The hardest thing is when you say it out loud.
Je suis très heureux d'avoir fait partie de ce projet pendant ces 3 années.
Makes it real.
Très heureux d'avoir pu participer au changement et au développement de la structure. Ça m'a fait énormément plaisir. J'ai rencontré énormément de personnes très bienveillantes et j'ai passé d'excellents moments. Je remercie en premier BDS La Tour pour avoir créé ce projet. Sans lui et sans ce projet, je ne serais pas là. Beaucoup de personnes ne seraient pas là. Donc merci beaucoup. Ça me fait beaucoup de bien d'être ici et ça m'a fait beaucoup de bien de passer autant de temps avec ces gens-là. Je remercie la direction aussi qui a fait un travail extraordinaire pendant qu'on était là. Je remercie tous ceux qui sont passés, tous les joueurs qui sont passés chez BDS et tous les joueurs qui y sont encore. Merci à tout le staff, donc la régie, etc., production, tout le monde. Je remercie vraiment tout le monde. Je remercie Kael, je remercie Marc pour les bons moments, les excellents moments, toutes les victoires en tournoi. J'oublie pas, personne n'oublie. Je remercie Seiko d'avoir été un teammate, un bon teammate, très bon teammate, un bon ami maintenant à moi. Un petit con, on va dire, mais ça c'est qu'un détail. Je le remercie vraiment. Je remercie
Thank
Rai
you.
aussi,
He's a little
qui a
idiot.
été étonnamment bienveillant. J'étais très content de travailler avec lui. Je ne m'attendais pas à ce que ça se passe aussi bien et on s'est directement bien entendu. Et je lui souhaite que du bonheur pour la suite. Je remercie Mayvi aussi qui a fait partie de notre équipe pendant un petit bout de temps cette année. Grâce à lui, on a passé d'excellents moments.
People don't
aussi,
realize
c'était
how
vraiment
much and how many people are involved. Like, yeah, he's named a majority of like teammates and players, but like
on va dire que je
when
connais
he's
très
saying
bien,
just a
donc,
blanket
on
like
passe
content team
vraiment,
staff, you know, so on and so.
des
There's
très bons
so
moments
many people that
ensemble.
make this shit
Il
happen.
a su s'adapter très rapidement et je suis très content d'avoir pu travailler avec lui aussi. Je remercie Miu énormément d'avoir participé au projet depuis l'année dernière. Il a beaucoup apporté à ma vie de tous les jours. Il a changé énormément de choses dans mon quotidien. Il m'a appris énormément de choses. Et pareil pour lui, j'espère que nos chemins se recroiseront et que...
People don't realize like
Parce que tu es brillant.
when you're doing these
Remercie
events,
également à Rojo,
right? You
mon
build
frère,
some pretty special relationships
qui,
and friendships and stuff like that. But like, how
comme vous avez pu le
often
voir,
do
était
you
un peu
actually get to
ému,
see these people?
dans la
You know,
vidéo
like
aussi,
unless
parce que,
you're
une tâche
a
particulière, c'est
pro or
quelqu'un
something
de-
and you're competing at a high level and
de
able to
très sociable,
compete
on va dire,
and
de-
go to this major
de très,
event, when
très
do you
drôle,
see
il est
each other?
toujours-
When do you
toujours là
see
à
those
vouloir,
people? When do you interact with them? Like,
arracher un sourire
I mean,
à
it's
quelqu'un.
the same. The
Et
biggest thing I look forward to when I go to major
c'est
events
quelqu'un
or worlds and stuff is like I get to see the
ramène tout le
boys.
temps
You
la
know,
bonne
it's been a
humeur.
long time since I've seen the
Donc, merci
casters. It's been a long time since
énormément
I've seen
pour ça.
you know
J'ai passé d'excellents
coaches,
moments avec
pros,
lui
people
aussi.
that I get along with.
Il a fait
And it's
partie,
like
intégrante de ce
it's
projet,
over
et sans lui, je
in an
pense que
instant. You know, you get a
on
couple
serait pas
hours a
arrivé
day when people actually have free
à faire
time to
tout ce
sit
qu'on a
and
fait.
chat. Otherwise, they're busy working and doing their own thing, and it's
Et
just like
j'espère
that's. I mean,
qu'on se
obviously that's
recroisera.
life, but
Même si, bon,
you just
si on est
there's no
contre, j'espère que je
guarantee
vais
that
gagner, mais
people are gonna
je
make
souhaite quand
it.
même bonne chance.
It sucks.
Et en dernier, je remercie énormément mon Kimoun, donc Evan, mon frère. Même si beaucoup vont dire oui, t'as été écarté de l'équipe, etc. Ça change rien pour moi. C'est-à-dire que Evan, ça fait 3 ans que je joue avec lui et je le connaissais 3 ans en arrière en plus. Donc c'est quelqu'un qui... C'est mon ami pour moi, c'est mon frère. Je peux pas lui en vouloir pour avoir fait des décisions professionnelles, etc. Je pense que n'importe qui à sa place aurait fait la même chose. En sachant qu'il est resté quand même très correct, très proche de moi, à l'écoute, etc. quand j'avais besoin, etc. aussi. Je sais que j'ai fait la même chose pour lui et qu'il en est content et il en est fier. On est en très bons termes, on a de très bonnes relations. On est comme deux frères.
Despite
Et je
this
peux rester
video
mon chemin,
being
j'espère
about
que
him, despite this video being about his reflection and this and
il va
that,
s'arrêter.
he still takes the
merci
time
beaucoup,
to
Evan.
clear the air for
très
everybody
content
who has
d'avoir,
ever been like, oh, these two hate each other because
D'avoir pu
he kicked him from the team. And he's like, no, like,
passer toutes
we're
ces
still very
années avec
close. We
toi,
have a
tous
great
ces tournois.
relationship. We
Tous ces tournois gagnés, certes, il y a des bas, et ça c'est partout. Mais je retiens plus les hauts que les bas. Et évidemment, tu sais pour la suite comment t'améliorer, etc. Donc je me fais pas de soucis pour toi et bonne chance, vraiment. Merci beaucoup en tout cas. Une dernière fois à tous les fans, tous ceux qui m'ont supporté. C'est un peu dur émotionnellement, mais parce que c'est comme ma maison BDS, donc c'est un peu ma deuxième famille. Je me sens comme chez moi et je sais que je pourrais revenir comme je veux. Quand
I
je
wish
veux.
we got this level
Et ça,
of
l'avantage avec cette structure, c'est que c'est
composure and
comme une
communication
famille,
from
en
all
fait.
all pros. And I know it's a
Donc,
rarity, but
vraiment, je
like
remercie encore une fois BTS, tous les fans,
I don't know
ceux
the
qui ont
last time I was
participé
able to sit down with a
à ce
pro.
projet.
You know, there's a couple
Et je
select
sais
few,
que ce
but like
projet,
just
il
sit and be
va
like,
encore
hey
loin.
man, talk,
Et j'espère que
speak.
je serai là pour
No break, no pauses, just go on a
je serai
monologue
dedans encore
and
une fois, peut-être par la suite pour
so eloquent
le
too
voir
when he
encore aller
does
plus
it.
loin. Et merci beaucoup, merci pour tout.
Phew. Incredible video from BDS and incredible career. I do not know what's next for Extra. I'm very excited to find out. You guys got to understand, like, maybe it's a resurgence. You know, he took some time off. He, like you said, he traveled. He did his own thing. He, you know, he focused on himself from what it sounds like while supporting the guys from the sideline. maybe that perspective makes him better. I don't know. But if he's back on the grind and he's doing his thing, I'm very excited to follow his career. Extra's a fantastic. A lot of the French guys don't get a lot of love from the other regions because obviously they kind of stick to their clique. They kind of stick around with their own people. But there's a couple French players like Fairy Peak, Extra, Alpha, and a lot of the others. We don't need to go down the massive list, but like that have always gone out of their way to talk, especially with the Americans, and be very, very forward. But like, you listen to how everybody's testimonial towards him is like, he's a great person, he's amazing, he's all this kind of stuff. Like, characteristics of a really good person, and Extra embodies the hell out of it. So I'm excited for his next steps. But yeah, crazy stuff. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thanks for watching. As always, if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications, helps me out immensely. And we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.